Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm KandyCorpse, you can call me Kay, and today I am going to finally be doing some more Am I the Asshole reactions. I haven't done this one in a little bit, it's probably been about a month, so I'm excited to get back into here. I do read some of them here and there. I hear them on TikTok. Sometimes I read them when I'm at work if I have like a couple minutes before I go in type of situation. But for the most part, I'm going to be reacting to ones that I have not heard before. And hopefully you guys haven't either, depending on how much you frequent Reddit yourselves. So I'm excited. Let's get started. AITA for telling my girlfriend that my ex-wife was tighter. What? I am 39. Hate it when people make fun of others. I mean, I know that people can gossip and talk amongst friends about other people, and I'm guilty of that too, but I got very upset when my girlfriend, female 32, started talking about my ex-wife, female 42. I understand that disliking an ex isn't abnormal or anything, but my girlfriend is obsessed with my ex-wife and always tries to make bad remarks about her. When it's just to me, I don't care because, again, people gossip and talk shit about others in the privacy of their own homes. But this time it was at a restaurant with some of her girlfriends and spouses. Somehow the discussion became about my ex-wife's vagina. That's weird. Don't ask me how, but they were discussing childbirth and body changes, etc. And my ex got dragged. My girlfriend was a bit drunk and she was talking loudly. I hated it and asked her to stop talking. When I get upset, she doubles down because she starts thinking, why do you care? Why don't you want me to talk shit about your ex? And she's told me this before. Now she was talking about how my ex-wife must have had a huge one. We have 2 children together, female 4, male 2. The girls started laughing and saying, ew. I yelled to stop, but they ignored me. Then my girlfriend told me, why are you agitated? Did we hit a nerve? I said, actually, no. My ex-wife was the tightest woman I've had. I don't know how she managed it, but she's very tight. They became silent and my girlfriend started crying. Then the women started yelling asshole at me, and their spouses were between amused and scared. Then one of the spouses said, yeah, I don't think childbirth really affects this. I haven't noticed a difference with women that I've dated. I felt gratitude, but was still being yelled at, and my girlfriend has not called or answered since Saturday. I'm so tired. Girl, break the fuck up. Break up. Like, obviously, she's a bitch. Break up. She's too insecure to be dating someone who is divorced and has children. Obviously. Break up. AITA for holding my ex-husband's hand at our son's funeral. Honestly, I think it depends on the situation. Like, what was the reason for the divorce? Was it bad? But it's your son's funeral. It was you together. So if you both were just like, if it was just like a comforting thing, I can see why it made someone uncomfortable. But at the same time, it's literally your son's funeral. Like, get the fuck over it. Recently, my ex-husband, 35M, and I, 33F, experienced the devastating loss of our son. In the midst of our grief, we found comfort in each other's presence and shared memories. During the funeral service, I reached out and held my ex's hand for support, which seemed natural given the circumstances. However, his current wife, 34F, said that it's inappropriate to show affection towards an ex-spouse. While I understand her perspective, I felt it was a moment of shared grief. AITA for holding my ex-husband's hand after losing our son. Edit, so many wonderful people have reached out to me and it's helped me feel less alone. Thank you. I appreciate all the kind words. No, that's the thing. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. People hold hands at funerals all the time. There wasn't anything inappropriate about it. His wife is insecure. That is said wife, right? Or is it just partner? No, yeah, it said current wife. The wife is insecure. Okay. And it's kind of crazy that he's already got a wife, but you have a 2-year-old son. So either that was like a really fast relationship or maybe there was a little bit of an affair. I don't know. But honestly, an affair would explain why she reacted the way she did, why she got very upset. But I don't know. But I'm going to say no because there's nothing wrong with that. Oh, what is this gorgeous, beautiful, absolutely stunning snake shed pendant that I'm wearing? Thank you so much for asking. This is my very own piece that I made from my shop, Winter Witches Crystals. You can see the screenshot right here. If you go to my website, I have this. I also have some on second sale, which basically means there's little tiny errors and I didn't want to sell them at full price. So they're like half price or less. I think they're like 75% off. And then I also have discount codes. I have YouTube discount code, I have TikTok, I have Instagram. So honestly, whichever one you want to use, you can use. I think the YouTube one is a little bit more. So if you go to my website from YouTube and you use my YouTube discount code, you get like a 25 or 30% discount on my own website. Like, it's my website. I make everything by hand. So honestly, I'd say it's a fair price, and you're supporting me, which honestly I think is pretty cool and I really appreciate. So yeah, if you wouldn't mind checking me out and looking at any of my other business socials, I would really appreciate it. AITA for throwing my rings in the ocean after my husband told me he had an affair, even though it was a prank. Honestly, no, because that's not something to fucking joke about. It really isn't. So I'm not even gonna read that. I'm just gonna say no. This one's crazy. Oh, AITAH for telling my fiance that she's useless in an emergency and shouldn't brag about how tough she is. I feel like I've heard a situation similar to this, so I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I'm excited to read this because the tea is hot. I want to see what happens. It sounds like it involves a child as well. So let's see what happens. I, 25M, have a child named Amy, 1F, with my fiance, Jess, 24F. We live together in one of the safest cities in the United States. About 4 months ago, Jess and I were walking home at night with Amy sleeping in her stroller. It was a suburban road that we've walked down hundreds of times. Suddenly, we heard several loud banging noises from around the corner. My first instinct was to check out where they came from, and so I jogged a couple of steps forward to peek and see what's going on. As it turns out, 2 teens were hitting the window of an SUV with a baseball bat. I watched them run away, get into a car, and peel out. I turned around to see Jess, but she wasn't there. Looked back the way we came to see her about 50 yards away, running like her life depended on it. I called out to her a few times, but she was obviously scared out of her mind and didn't hear me. A few minutes later, I called her on the phone and she picked up. I explained that it was just a couple of dumb kids with a baseball bat. She sheepishly walked up a few minutes later, and I couldn't help but laugh at her. She said that she grew up in a rough neighborhood. Quotes, she did not. She said she grew up in a rough neighborhood. She didn't, and mistook the sounds for gunshots. I actually grew up in a bad neighborhood and told her they sounded nothing like gunshots. But what really stuck with me was her first instinct in an emergency was to abandon the 9-month-old baby and her fiance to fend for themselves as she protected her own hide. Okay, well, you didn't say she abandoned the baby. Well, last night we were watching a documentary together, and there was a scene with a woman who was frozen in terror during an animal attack. Jess scoffed and said that if it were her, she would have fought back, especially if Amy were with her. I looked at her for a few seconds and said, yeah, you don't really know what you do. Jess insisted she would have fought tooth and nail against any threat against our daughter, to which I responded, even a couple of kids breaking a car window with a baseball bat, let's call it for what it is. You're kind of useless in an emergency. Jess stood up, called me a dickhead, and walked away. It felt really shitty because she was victim blaming the woman in the documentary when she showed herself to be a coward of comic proportions. Were my words too harsh? Well, kind of. I mean, she did run away. Like, obviously she would not, like, she has proven that she would just run and wouldn't protect the child. But it's weird that, like, you went out of your way to, like, see, and, like, people are agreeing, like, if she had grabbed the kid, it would made sense. But to leave the baby behind, like, that's what was the issue with the situation. Yeah, so everyone agrees that she's not, like, brave because she left the baby. If she hadn't left the baby, the situation would be completely different, but she did. Because I agree, running when you feel like you're in a dangerous situation is not a bad thing. Well, it was fucking stupid of him to run ahead to see what it was, to be honest. But for her to leave the baby, it sounds like what happened was as soon as she heard it, she ran, and he ran forward to it. She ran away from it. So honestly, it kind of sounds like they both left the baby. But we're only seeing his side of it. We're not seeing her side of it. But the way he tells it, it kind of sounds like they both left the kid. Yeah, and so he's literally just in the comments making fun of her, like making fun of the way she walks and just the way he's just like making fun of her. Like, I don't understand. Honestly, I don't even know if I believe this post, if I don't believe that's what happened, because he's literally in the comments making fun of the way she looks, the way she runs, the way she walks. Like, he's just making fun of her. Like, he's not even talking about the situation. He's just like ganging up on her with like other Redditors in the comments. Like, that's weird. That gives me weird vibes. Like, why are you doing that?
Huh?
AITAH for cutting out our mother-in-law from our lives after she sent a wedding invitation to our baby we lost. That's intentional. I don't think so. That is a very intentional thing to do. I lost a baby in the second trimester. No, you're not the asshole. You didn't even give birth yet. She knew you lost the baby during the second trimester, and no, that was intentional, and I guarantee it's not the first time she's done something like that, something terrible. So, no. AITA for canceling our gender reveal party because I know my husband will be unhappy and possibly leave. Interesting. So by unhappy, do you mean unhappy with the party or unhappy with the gender? Because it sounds like they're probably having a girl and he's gonna be mad. But let's just see. I don't know. Before we jump to any conclusions, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he just doesn't want a party. Maybe there's something else going on. Let's just see. My 37F husband, 43M, and I have a 9M son together, and I'm currently pregnant with our second child. My husband and I have already booked the venue for the gender reveal. We'll lose the photographer's deposit and what we spent on decorations, etc. However, my husband is more concerned about the reputation effect it as he grew up affluent, has a very high-paying job, and also a stake in a family business. However, I can tell that despite us already having a boy who he absolutely adores, they can do no wrong in each other's eyes. My son will always have every toy, fun activities, best clothes gifted by his dad. He desperately wants our second child, who we expect to be our last, a boy. Yeah, so he's mad because it might not be a boy. Or she knows that it's not a boy and she knows he's gonna freak out. I went into planning this reveal rationalizing that gender disappointment is okay, but I've come to realize that there is wishing you're having a son, and then there's fixating on not having a daughter even more than wanting another son, and my husband falls into the second category. We didn't do a gender reveal for our firstborn because my husband kept putting off whether or not he wanted to hear it from the doctor, and when we ended up learning with him ecstatic about having a son less than a month before giving birth. It's not all his fault. He grew up with an older dad who was always controlling towards his mother. Their town at the time was essentially a company town, and his dad threatened her family's jobs. Plus, he made it impossible for her to go about her day without seeing him until she agreed to be with him. Come again? Your mother-in-law is a victim, bro. Stalking, harassment, threatening? She's a victim, dude. My husband also pursued me pretty aggressively, and we had tension over how I at times felt uneasy around him. Yes, we've been to therapy over this. Girl, and your therapist said you guys should stay together? Get a new therapist, bro. No. He sounds like a predator. He sounds like a predator, like his dad who wants to raise more. That's what he sounds like. Our marriage has been strained because I was done with him not understanding why my body was not still at 100% 3 months after giving birth. He would counter by saying I turned down sex the day after giving birth, but that was him showing he was attracted to me post-baby. Now his demons are back. We got to a point where he said fine to me going along to hear the baby's gender without telling him, and I found out we're having a girl. I guess I don't have a good poker face by his negative reaction after I got home. He is arguing he doesn't know the baby's gender because I did not explicitly tell him, but 100% he does know. I'd be fine with the reveal where the guests are the ones being surprised, but it's in a week, and with each day, my husband grows more and more withdrawn, and he's not the type who can fake happiness and often tries to leave and pull me away with him when he's really upset. I decided to pull the plug. Again, he's not mad about the money. He's angry that we're doing this to our family and friends and what this may say about him. I put my foot down, AITA. No, he doesn't give a fuck about you. He doesn't give a fuck about your children. He literally said he only cares about the way it'll make him look. That's it, not the asshole. Okay, everybody, so that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It lets me know that you guys enjoyed this video, and I do have a whole playlist of AITA as well as other playlists if you guys are interested in watching some of my other videos and some of the other series I do. So with that being said, that is all I have for today, and I will see you all in the next video.